So we got to hear what she had to say. Alameda County's embattled district attorney is responding to her critics and the effort to remove her from office. It comes as the group trying to unseat Pamela Price has now filed the official paperwork to start raising money for a recall. Price ran for DA on a progressive platform emphasizing restorative justice policies. That includes reducing sentences for younger offenders, eliminating most sentencing enhancements, and holding law enforcement accountable. But her critics are concerned those policies are just too lenient on violent criminals. In fact, they've criticized Price's response to a number of high-profile cases, including her decision to drop special circumstances against the two men accused of killing toddler Jasper Wu in a freeway shootout. So over the past several months, I should say, we have made repeated attempts to interview Price, and she's declined until now. She sat down with our Betty Yu to discuss some of her most controversial policies.
Family members of victims are saying that the decisions you have made are unfair to them, that sentences that criminals have been given are excessively lenient, and that perpetrators are favored over victims. What's your response to that?
I feel definitely my heart goes out to the people who have lost loved ones in this community. So we at the district attorney's office are very, very committed to making sure that we're providing the best services. Some people are not able to actually appreciate the work that we do.
The work of Pamela Price has been focused on progressive reforms, including alternatives to incarceration and not charging juveniles as adults. Now official paperwork to launch a recall has been filed.
There are people who say that we are here because they don't feel safe.
I was elected because the people in this community didn't feel safe, unfortunately. We know that crime under my predecessor was, pretty much exploding. The DA's role has really no impact on crime.
Oakland police have recently warned residents about a surge in violence, including an uptick in home invasion robberies.
Do you feel safe living in Oakland?
Yes, I do. I live in East Oakland even, and I know a lot of people think, oh, that's terrible. I feel safe.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. Betty, I don't think you asked about the achievements of the first 6 months.
No.
This is my next question.
I'm sorry. I hate to jump in.
Less than halfway into our 15-minute interview, Price's PR person pointed me to ask about her accomplishments.
What are the metrics that you're using to gauge your success?
I think the metrics are, we're beginning to create a baseline for the data that we have. Unfortunately, we got here and the technology is pretty much outdated and underutilized. And so we're beginning to assess how many people are going through the mental health diversion court. They weren't keeping that data when we got here.
Families of victims believe Price has been pushing for the shortest possible sentences.
There's a lot of families that are victims of Pamela Price's and the system that she's trying to create. And it will be 3 months on Tuesday of my son's death.
Police said her son Blake was shot to death by a shoplifter who stole a charger for a power tool at this Pleasanton Home Depot. Lori Mose said the prosecutor on the case told her Benicia Knaps, the accused killer, will face a murder charge and an enhancement that carries the least amount of prison time. Our story with the Mose family caught the attention of lawmakers on Capitol Hill, where she recently testified.
And we should be charging the case based on facts and not on personal opinion or personal agenda.
Since I haven't had any conversation with her, reading me some statement that she made, I think that's not fair.
Would you like me to play it for you? Would that help?
No.
Price refused to address any specific cases. She has argued that adding enhancements disproportionately affects Black and brown people.
Over 70% of the young people, actually all people serving life without the possibility of parole sentences from Alameda County are Black. And 82% of those who from Alameda County were given life without the possibility of parole under the age of 21, 82% of those are Black. And so there is data on the racial disparities. And that's why I think the legislature has given us the mandate under the Racial Justice Act that all district attorneys are required to implement to eliminate the racial disparities. Anytime that we can divert someone from the criminal justice system, that is a goal, because the criminal justice system has been shown to be racially biased.
In your pursuit of achieving equity, it is favoring perpetrators over victims. Is that correct?
That's absolutely not true. Often what studies have shown, and it's true in Alameda County, many times people who are perpetrators or labeled as perpetrators were actually victims.
Price's PR person pushed to wrap our interview before our allotted time was up.
I hope that moving forward we will have more access to you.
I doubt it, quite frankly.
Betty joining us in studio now. So let's talk about how this interview ended. Okay, first off, she's saying she's not going to be accessible. So how did you get the interview?
Well, and I should follow that up with, she said she won't be accessible because she's too busy working. We believe this is her third PR person in her 6 months in office. And so this interview came about as part of that new public relations strategy to make herself available. Previously, she had denied all of our requests.
All right. And so she's very passionate, though, talking about racial bias and also no special enhancements. So can you address that? Did she go into more detail?
Yes, and she said that the evidence shows that the system is biased against specifically Black and brown people. And this is why she's so dedicated to eradicating this disparity. She even said there's a legal mandate for her to do so. And this is why she's eliminating virtually all special circumstances. And of course, now the families of these victims, residents, public safety advocates are saying this is at the cost of justice. This is inappropriate and irresponsible.
Well, I can't help but think about that part where you said, can I please play, or can I play this part of the interview where it was a victim's family member speaking? And she kind of turned that down, right?
That's right. There was total pushback. I offered to read her a statement at first. She said she's a visual person, so it wouldn't be fair to her. I offered her the YouTube video. It was a short clip, and she flat out said no.
All right. Well, I appreciate your interview, and I hope that she makes herself more accessible, because there is a lot more. Oakland is crying for help and safety,